the way I kind of look at it, like I've got a few different things I do. I have my Instagram, and then I kind of have my blogs, and then I have like my podcast or whatever. And so I kind of try to filter different things through and what goes well, and I try and test. And for me, I've noticed that kind of exercise kind of technique and stuff goes well on Instagram, whereas on podcasts, things more around nutrition seem to go well for me. And probably, I'm not sure why, but that's how I kind of do it. And so primarily it's just, I get asked a lot and I have clients, and a lot of the stuff I do is just in response to clients. So I'll be doing a client check-in and they'll be sending me their squat or so, whatever. And it's just something that really reveals itself that they're making a mistake on. And then I correct it and I think, oh, fuck, okay, I know what I'm talking about. I'm going to make a post out of that. All right. And, so a lot of the times, I often post about sometimes a lot about squats and stuff like that. And the reason why is I probably would have just been working with my client, working on their squat depth and something like that. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. That, so, and nutrition, again, I post a lot about nutrition and even, my own struggles with it and when I'm going well and not going well. So I kind of just use the realities of life. I try not to, well, I probably should, but I don't strategize too much and go, all right, this is my year plan of how I'm going to get to from X to Y or to A to B or whatever you want to say. It's primarily just what's happening around me and what I see and who I work with. And so, yeah, that kind of just organically kind of feeds into what I do. And, for me as well, like I always complain about social media on my social media because it sucks a lot of the time. But, I always, you kind of want to know who you are and stuff. Like, I'm sure I could probably make better content and grow faster, but I also try to make content about what I'm actually good at and what I do. And it's quite small. And so that's the thing. So it's program design. The things I'm interested in aren't always going to crush it. But the thing is, you can post content that can be really clickbaity and do really, really well and all that stuff, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get more sales and get people in. Like, sure, it's good to have 1 million followers. I'd rather 1 million followers than no followers. But again, it's kind of like, am I building an audience that's then going to filter through to what I actually have to offer people? So that's just the way I'm thinking. And then if I'm posting something, if they then were interested, does it then funnel them through to one of my programs, which then can solve one of those problems? So that's the way I'm kind of thinking with that content. Editing. So editing, it's funny again. So I recently started working with a guy for some videos. Like, you'll see more nicer looking content, like my post last night. But it's funny enough, and I'll tell you guys, this is that any post I've done kind of working with them go terrible. Any program where I do a green screen myself or simple one myself, crush it. So it's just funny. So again, from an editing standpoint, nice editing, I can tell you right now, it's been a massive fail for me. And but when I just do it myself, it crushes it. So the whole idea was like, oh, take time off my hands. But it's like, hey, instead of getting 8,000, 10,000 likes, I get 2,000 likes. So it's kind of like, well, so it's kind of funny. So editing, I don't think has worked for me so far, but again, it can be different. And the third question, sorry, I forget the third question.
What was the
Yeah, scaling the online business, sorry.
Online business for me, scaling, I guess it just depends what you have to offer. Originally, if you're selling something that's high price point, scaling is probably going to be different to selling for $100. So again, the amount of people you need for an online coaching business versus selling a guidebook challenge business is quite different. So in terms of scaling, it's again, if you're creating something like a challenge or a guidebook or something like that, it doesn't cost a lot of money, so therefore a sale might be, nothing to write home about after cost and all that stuff. So you need to kind of think of your audience. And this is where I think a lot of people go wrong, is that, they try to do challenges. They try to do, they see people like myself do challenges and other people and stuff like that. And then they do it and they spend thousands of dollars and months doing it and they get no numbers to make a profit. So it really kind of depends on where you want to go with it. And just know, like, if you're going to sell something that's really low, $100 or something for a product, you're going to need a whole lot of numbers to really make a profit and whatnot. And then also comes with things like customer service and stuff like that. So scaling and growing and stuff like that, it's really coming down to, who you want to work with. And, if you want to be really, really niche, often it's easier to work with people in a premium online setting. You can charge more. You don't need thousands of clients. For me, it's a terrible month if I get 1,500 people. I'm mortified if I don't get 1,500 people into my business. So, but if I had that at a high price point, I might need 30 new people or 100 new people, whatever. So it just depends on what you're trying to do. And yeah, knowing where you want to go. And when you create a business or you create a product, it's kind of think ahead, like, well, what's possible? What, how many people do I need for this to be a success? And then you can work backwards to say, hey, is it worth the time and investment? Is it worth the effort you put in? Because another one of my pet peeves is people think a lot of the things I do is passive income. It's not passive income, because you worked on it once, but then, I have to sell it, I have to market it. My expenses on my business are 6 figures a month, so it's not just one-off stuff. It's like constantly working and constantly doing all these things. And, it would be much easier to do just a premium coaching business, which I actually just started the other week, and stuff like that. So it just really depends where you want to go. And